I was just going to comment that even though I was like going like this when Brandon was saying that, you know, people were like, oh, that's forbidden. So I'm gonna listen to it more because my mom won't let me or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That was like, to me, I was like not interested. I was not interested in rap is the funny part. I was just kind of like, it just didn't seem to me to be that interesting, at least in the early days. Now, much later, I'm gonna say about 2008, 2009, 2010, that's when I started maybe hearing a little bit more about Biggie Smalls and Tupac and stuff, and maybe knowing a little bit about their stuff and thinking, yeah, this is pretty cool. Like some of their stuff was pretty cool. But before that, I had never really like encountered it much or anything like that. And like to this day, I don't know that much. I just know a couple, you know, I know some Tupac stuff. I know some Biggie Smalls. And I don't listen to it constantly, but I know of it. But anyway, what are your comments about Go ahead, Brendan.
I was going to say really quickly to add to that, what I didn't talk about much, or what I didn't say really, was the lyrics. I think in rap, it started from like having a good time. You know, you have the Rapper's Delight, right? Is the infamous first song, Rapper's Delight by, oh my God, I can't remember the name of the group. It'll come back to me. Anyway, so it's like hip hop, hip-a-did, hip hop,
yes,
you don't stop.
I remember that.
Yeah, so that's allegedly that's like the first rap song. Everyone's like, that's the original rap song. It's the first one, and it was all about having a good time and hanging out and partying. And then later, you get some other lyricists like KRS-One and Public Enemy, and they're talking about social change and how things are wrong, and they're just like pointing it out, and they're not really glorifying it though. But then it comes where people are starting to glorify it in their lyrics, and then it just, I see later, like in the I guess it started in the 90s, but then by the 2000s, it was like just all materialism. And, you know, it's all about Bentleys and all about this stuff. And even Wyclef Jean and The Rock made a song, It Doesn't Matter. And they're talking about Bentleys and stuff. You know, he's like, I got a 100 Bentleys in the West Indies. It doesn't matter, you know. And I really love that song because of it. And it was a pop song, which is hilarious. But other than that, most of it just went to materialism and, you know, how many bitches I got and how much money I got. And yeah, it's funny because some of these rappers are like new and they're talking about they have a Bentley. I'm like, did you rent it? Because, you know, how did you write this song? It's not even authentic.
This is your first song ever.
Yeah, like, did you steal the Bentley? Is that what happened? And now you're rapping about it. Now you're famous. What's going on? You know?
I just looked it up. The Sugar Hill Gang, is that who it
Sugar
is?
Hill Gang, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never even heard of them.
And then it was remade later by the Def Squad by Eric Sermon, Redman, Keith Murray. Yeah, I know a lot about rap music, but yeah, specifically, I just wanted to talk about the lyrics and how they declined as well. Not just the beats getting simpler, but also the lyrics really focusing on materialism.
I know. I'm looking at the lyrics right now by the Sugar Hill Gang. I mean, it's very groovy and just bang to the bang bang boogie. Let's rock, you don't stop. I mean, it's very you know, jumpy, kind of feel good. But my perspective.
That's how they grabbed you in, you know.
I've heard all these conspiracy theories. I don't know which is the right one. I mean, I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. So like there is grabble, but there also is the kind of tendency to be naughty. Not everyone. I mean, Sharon didn't have the tendency to be naughty, but I mean, many people have this kind of tendency as children to kind of, oh, I'll do that because that causes a reaction. Oh, look, now I'm getting attention. So I think the same thing happened with all art forms like music and, I mean, thrillers. You know, thrillers became more psychologically shocking. You know, any way to kind of get your attention and to shock you by describing things that will either scare you or intimidate you or make you feel envy. It's like the Bentley you mentioned or things like that, you know. And then I don't know when, but there was a switch where it just became full retard. It's just, I'm not sure when that happened exactly, but yeah, it has happened. And with music as well. I mean, you can hear the same beats. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, some of these beats of the latest rap songs are very interesting, but they do seem to be repeating too much. I mean, you'll hear almost identical beats, maybe like 50 or 100 times. It's like, you guys are just overdoing it. You're over trying, over trying. Yeah.
They're oversharing.
Oversharing. So, yeah, I mean, when someone succeeds at something, even if it's with a fake Bentley or whatever, rented Bentley, I mean, you do see other people trying to emulate the supposed success by rapping about similar stuff, making a beat which is extremely similar, and kind of just copying, just even having reference. And if that wasn't enough, you have the dissing, the whole beef challenge between rappers, which is kind of intertwined in the actual beats. So I can see why it went full retard so quickly. Yeah,
the East Coast versus the West Coast. And
yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know any of that stuff until maybe I heard Snoop Dogg or somebody talk about it, Dr. Dre, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the beef thing was like another way. It was like a marketing scam, It was just like, oh, let's just start all these beefs. But I like what you said about conspiracy theory, because I always like to take everything down to, what it could be logically. And, there could be, and a lot of people talk about evidence of all these grabblers inside music and, only making all this music on purpose. But I think, like you were saying, it's a natural trend that happens that just follows society, and people see the other rappers becoming famous, and as society changes, they're just kind of going with the flow and with what works, and it's kind of like all happening at once. So I don't think it was like this grand scheme. It could have been, maybe somebody had a grand plan to do it, but the people who let it happen were just us, our parents, the people around us, just the people who said yes to it, listened to the music, accepted it, and just kept going with it. And then I was really never a fan like yourself of pop music myself. So once rap started to go pop, even in the early 90s, there was people like KRS-One and others, that song by Third Base called Pop Goes the Weasel. Pop goes the weasel, the weasel. And that's what they're talking about, how people in rap are going pop. So there was this split. And it was really just a choice. It wasn't like some conspiracy is what even made it happen. Yeah, so I like to bring that stuff up because people are always like, oh, it's them, it's they, it's all these people. And I just heard somebody recently, Howdy Mikulski, actually, if I say his last name right, Howdy Mikulski. He called the them, the they, the Illuminati, the Dark Controllers, the Bilderberg Group. He calls them influencers, which is amazing.
Exactly.
They're not controllers, they're influencers. And this is a point where we could see it, because maybe all the record executives were just promoting the people who are into materialism, or maybe it's just how they're getting rich. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they were just following the money. So yeah, everything doesn't have to be a giant conspiracy. I'm not that you're saying that, but I'm just saying for the listeners.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.